You have to be the strangest poker player I ever met.
Oh, you have no idea.
Hello and welcome to another bonus episode of Call James Bond. I'm November Kelly. I'm joined as always by my friends Abigail Thorne and Devon.
Hey!
How you doing?
And Devon and I are sort of like holding hands for this bonus pick, right? This is an indistinguishable, it could be either of us. We watched The Card Counter.
Yeah, it was alright.
That's right.
Oh, I have some thoughts about this one.
I've brought you a conundrum today, ladies. I've brought you a movie that I saw several years ago and remembered enjoying, and now, having watched it again last night, I now want to try to litigate: does this movie deserve to fucking exist? And I have some very strong opinions about it.
I really liked this movie. I remember liking it when I saw it for the first time. It's one of my favorite movies of the last few years. And I relate to it on a few levels. And I do want to say ahead of time here that much like To the Bone, right? This is one of the ones where like some viewers may be affected, and I am some viewers. Because I do want to overshare again. And you'll know it when it happens.
There's also a lot of content warnings to go along with this one.
Oh, yes.
They'll all be in the description, and they'll be apparent.
Perfect. Yeah. So this is a Paul Schrader movie, longtime collaborator of Martin Scorsese, and it's about two American compulsions, or at least it frames these things as being sort of like in dialogue with each other: gambling and torture. This is a movie that's setting its stall out very firmly in the "this movie is about 9/11" side of the "this movie is about being transgender" or being about 9/11.
But it is incorrect.
I think it's
because it is in fact about being transgender.
I think it's both. I will just say this ahead of time. I think it's the first movie to be about being transgender and about 9/11.
Okay.
And
my God.
Yeah. It's an Oscar Isaac movie, and he's sort of carrying this movie.
Does a great job, by the way. I always love seeing Oscar Isaac, and he's very good.
Incredible actor. With like another actor, I don't know if this movie would have worked, right?
No,
I have a lot of
all.
kind of because it's another one of these movies that's like very sparse, very like close in, would work as a play again, I think. And a lot of like sort of character driven, sort of character study stuff in it. But so Oscar Isaac is, well, he describes himself, he was like someone who is suited to incarceration, right? Which says, I was an American kid, I feared confinement of any kind. And then he goes to prison, this entirely grey prison. And I do want to talk about this movie's use of color, because its use of grays and browns, mostly grays, is superlative. And yeah, he has gone to prison, military prison.
For 10 years.
Yes.
For crimes that we don't yet know. He reads Marcus Aurelius while he's in military prison. Marcus Aurelius, Stoic philosopher. If you know your Stoicism, it's all about like coping with suffering. Marcus Aurelius's meditations were also written as his own private journal, which is the theme because we see Oscar Isaac journaling a lot throughout this.
I do like.
And also in prison, he learns to count cards.
Well, I do like that he notes that as he's reading Marcus Aurelius, that he had never read a book before, like cover to cover, before going to prison. But yes, he learns to count cards in prison, and we're sort of like, we see him free in casinos, like counting cards at blackjack. And there's a little thing here, by the way, because he explains how to count cards in blackjack, which is keeping track of like which cards are in play and which cards aren't, right? So you can establish what the advantage to you is, as he says.
What separates blackjack from other games is that it's based on dependent events, meaning past affects the probability in the future.
And that line and the whole explanation of it is almost verbatim from a Wired.com explainer video of like a former like card counter explains how to count cards in blackjack, right?
Really?
Fully stolen, yeah.
The thing is, right?
Oh, come on.
I think this
That's
is
so cheap.
No, I think this is fine, right? I think one of the things that I really admire about Paul Schrader, right, is the sort of the art of the like good enough, right? It's good enough where it doesn't need to. That's not a criticism, not really.
No, 100%. I'm with you.
The sort of like structural supports of the thing don't have to be that fancy, right? And so, to me, this is like a great piece of sort of like screenwriting advice, if you like, because you take pretty cursory research, right? Like, and you don't need to like rewrite the whole thing. You can steal a bit, you can fudge a bit, you can just use the first thing. And it's how you think about using it and how you deploy it and the kind of like intentionality there. I'm saying intentionality so much lately.
It's because we're the fucking modern Siskel and Ebert, that's why.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, the movie's called The Card Counter, but it's not really about card counting. Like, that's just the way that we get into this thing. So him just using a cursory explanation of it is completely reasonable.
Yeah,
to my mind.
I actually know a guy who counts cards. In casinos like for a living, and I don't think he does any of the stuff that happens in this movie.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
Again, it's the art of the good enough. It's the art of like getting things done and out, right? Is that like it drives the plot along, and that's all you need, right? It's not really the point of the thing. One thing that we do see is that as he counts cards, he is very careful. There's a little like interplay of looks between Oscar Isaac and this blackjack dealer as he's playing in this casino. And they kind of like, there's a look of mutual recognition, and we see over his shoulder the like pit boss, the kind of like casino floor manager, just kind of like hove into shot. And the second he sees him over his shoulder, Oscar Isaac is like on the way out. He says hi to him on the way out.
Done.
He wins $750, so like not a massive amount of money. And as we'll see later on, this is deliberate. He says later he likes to fly under the radar and win small amounts of money.
Yes.
I'd like to mention like the way he's styled at this point. So he wears a very neat pressed grey shirt, black tie, and like a leather or pleather jacket, but like a very smart one, very slick. His hair is like very, very neat. He's almost got the kind of fash haircut. He drives like a Ford, so he's well put together and he's slick, but he's very unassuming. He's got this like quite charming salt and pepper hair, actually.
I can say this less subtly. I want Oscar Isaac to fuck me in this movie.
He looks like a Nazi.
I don't know about this Oscar Isaac. I've had other Oscar Isaacs that I'd prefer.
No, this is
very, very clean shaven.
This is my preferred Oscar Isaac, right? Because it's quite like spy-like. It's quite like grey man, if you like that term. Literally, there's a lot of greys in this, and it's all very beautifully put together. Where it's like, oh god, Oscar Isaac is a very handsome man, right? But there's something about this particular character in this particular portrayal where he plays it very sparse, very cold, like some kind of like remote like marine animal or something. You know, he's like a shark or some kind of like whale or something.
This would be a good audition tape for Bond.
Genuinely,
he's doing like Daniel Craig Bond shit.
Yeah, but no, this
sitting in casinos, being sinister.
This compels.
Also, we see he gets into a motel room. He unplugs the phone and the alarm clock and wraps all of the furniture in bed sheets.
A couple of details here. First of all, when he gets the room number is room 101. Subtlety, thy name is not Paul Schrader. Doesn't need to be. Themes. It's fine. It's fine. If I like your work, I don't care if you're not subtle. But also,
this explains why you like philosophy.
Know the work rules.
Hi, Abby.
And director, I don't like being unsubtle. It's just like, hello, human resources. Take this man away, please.
Yeah, no, it's didactic. Fine, whatever. One thing I do like as well is as he's like, he gets in the room, he takes the paintings off the wall first, then the phone and the alarm clock. And as he does, he walks out of shot. The shot is kind of like fixed.
Yes.
And it's quite a surveillance camera vibe, which I like a lot.
I like that. There's so many long shots in this that are held. And I was like, oh, movies are back, baby. Like, we don't need to have like 500 cuts a minute and it looks like visual diarrhea. Just set up a camera in the corner, fuck off to lunch and let the actors do their job.
That's right.
You get a lot of acting and a lot of sound design as well. This is the other thing, is that like there's this kind of omnipresent, quite husky, like heavy breathing and like mechanical noise on the soundtrack. It's like really, really good sound design.
I interpreted the breathing noises as like he's trying to do breathing exercises to keep calm.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just my guess.
But yeah, we see him like drape white sheets that he has brought with him in his suitcase over all of the furniture and tie up all of the furniture with like twine. If you're wondering about the sort of like erotic in this movie, there is like there's heavy breathing as he's tying up a chair. Like it's going to get less subtle from here, but there is some stuff.
All right, that's quite enough of that. If you want to hear us really get into talking about this movie, you are going to have to give us some money. You know, this is not a one-way street. We get real behind that paywall, all right? This is emotional labor that you're paying for right now, not just the physical back-breaking labor of making a podcast. If I haven't talked you out of it, patreon.com/killjamesbond, all one word, and sign up today. It's like £5 a month. That's the least amount per month anyone in your life is asking you for right now. I guarantee it.